It's a gigantic engine. This thing is seriously huge, guys. Might be even bigger than a full-sized semi-engine. It's on a frame that's on wheels, and this wheel was removed, but this bearing is still here. The bearing turns. It's kind of neat. But let me show you guys the wheels. Here's one of the wheels. Just put my hand up next to it. You can see it's quite large, so that might give you a little sense of scale as to how big this thing is. So I should have noticed this earlier, but it's painted yellow. The engine is. It's a Caterpillar engine, which makes sense. Don't know how old this thing is, but it's yeah. It's the backside of the Caterpillar. There's a manufacturer's stamp here. I can't make out the first letters, but it says something pneumatic tool company. Wow. GM diesel engines. Look at that, there's 4 of them. What the hell? That is wild. Over on this side of this building is what looks like a workshop. There's tons of nuts and bolts and other hardware laying around here. This kind of looks like some sort of vise. Potentially. Yeah, look at all this hardware just laying out here. There's more below, underneath as well. So we just came through that area. Those are the 4 GM diesel engines, and kind of in the main workings of the mill. If I knew how all of this worked, I would try to explain it, but I don't, so I'm not even going to try. But certainly was some sort of mill. Okay, so these 4 GM diesel engines are all powering one same shaft, and this shaft transmits torque to this is a tensioner, most likely, and then this giant, look at how big this belt is. It's huge. That's crazy. And it transmits torque to this enormous flywheel over here, which is, that's a compressor. This wheel is about 6 or 7 foot diameter, Follow the belt, you can see those are the GM engines over there. Look at this, this is wild. This is a really cool find. That's down toward the mill. You can see the center of the frame. You see the rails coming out onto this little hopper. I guess it's not that little, it's a giant hopper. And that's the first step in the milling process, is putting the ore into the mill. I can tell you that. Let's a closer look at the hopper. Looks like they had some sort of winch on top of those tanks. It's kind of interesting. There's a ladder on the side too. To the left here is where the majority of the waste rock was dumped. Winch there. So continuing onward past all that equipment is the main dump for the mine. It's always fun to stand on top of these things because it's usually quite a view looking down. This is one enormous waste dump. Wow. Back over there is all the milling equipment. And of course the adit to the mine, which we're going to check out momentarily. Sorry about the wind. Nothing I can do about it. But one last overview of the mill. Pretty impressive. Here's the main adit of the mine. It's backgated, but someone has breached it. So we'll go on in and check it out. Just inside the adit here. Debris on the ground. And the workbench shelf thing. That's looking ahead. Got small carved out areas to either side of me, but we'll follow the main haulage into the mountain. I don't know if I got bats in there. Okay. Found some bats here. Oh. Trying to avoid disturbing them too much. But this haulage tunnel continues this way, so I'll keep going. Okay, we've hit a junction here. some stoping, mineralized rock above us, and this looks like an incline, or decline I should say. Unfortunately it's collapsed, but it goes down at a pretty shallow angle, probably to another level. Next to it is this compressor tank. And back in here is another stope. Go back there and check it out. Pretty neat minerals in here. So I'm standing on top of this huge collapse, and there's little passages going off in all directions. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get down to any of these. I'll probably check back on this stuff in a second. Okay, we're back at the junction coming out of that stope. There's another shot of that incline, or decline, sorry. See how the rails just bend downwards right there, and then they go into that collapse. So that's back to the portal. More stoping up this way. There's bats everywhere. That looks like a dead end through there. I think we're going to stick with the haulage for now, which is that way. There's also another opening up there. Let's continue down the haulage and see what we can find. You have a collapse here with a large chamber above it. And tunnel going off that way. Okay, we're going to the left. Ooh, wow. That's not good. Yikes. Okay. So there's a huge chamber here, which looks kind of natural, like all this material just fell down off the ceiling. That's pretty sketchy. Look at all these boulders. They're just balanced here. The tunnel's down there. Okay, that's the main haulage. This is one of the branches that we haven't checked out yet. It's probably going to lead to some collapse, but we'll go down here anyway. Stope above me. Yeah, this rock is really, look at that. Just crumbles in your hand. Another access point to a stope. Another big stope. It's too bad they didn't timber this mine, it really needed it. Okay, so this just ends in a raise, and there's a ton of bats back there. I don't want to disturb them any more than we already have, so I'm going to call it there. There's also a raise going up this way into the stopes. It's kind of a weird mine. So much collapse in here. Here's an old drill bit I found down one of the collapsed stope areas. See, it's threaded on the inside. Here's a bunch of these. So I climbed all up through these stopes without my camera. I was even up there at one point, and there really is nothing interesting up there, unfortunately. Everything seems to lead to a giant collapse in this mine. Like this decline goes right into a collapse, and yes, I checked all over that thing. You can't get around it. That tunnel leads to a collapse. The main haulage leads to a collapse. It's kind of bizarre that they didn't timber in here because it really needed it. Everything's coming down in here. It's all bats. It's a lot of bats. All clumped up in a ball. Adit number 2 is gated, and no one has breached this one. So we're not going to be able to go in there, unfortunately. Though there's probably not a whole lot back there. Anyway. There's the mill way down there. This is viewing from the upper adit. More equipment laying downhill from the mine. This looks like I don't know. See that? There's a chimney outside the mine, several stories tall. This was part of a milling or smelting complex that is no longer really visible. You can kind of see the foundations down there, but all that really remains is this giant brick chimney. Pretty impressive structure to find in the middle of nowhere. That's a look at the bottom of the chimney smokestack. It's hard to see in the light, but some foundations and piles of brick down below me where the mill structure would have once stood. I'm not going to go down there. It's just some pieces of brick, nothing more. I think that about does it for this site. There are a couple buildings across the creek we might check out as well, but it's getting dark, so we got to get out of here.